So the first topic for today is our new addition to your website that you may have already noticed, and that is the website accessibility widget, which is right here. So that's located in the top right corner of your website, both on mobile and desktop. And whether your site is live or still on a trial, you should see that widget. We did send out an email about this widget a few weeks ago when we first implemented it. And I'm just going to briefly go over what was covered in that email, and then we will show you how the widget works and open it up to questions. So starting with a little bit of background, what is website accessibility and why is it important? So there's been a lot of conversation lately surrounding ADA compliance and how that applies to websites. So the ADA was designed to deal with physical access and not digital access. In 2003, the Department of Justice set out a voluntary action plan for both government and private entities to deal with the possible application of ADA to websites. And then in 2010, they were getting ready to pass actual rules, but the implementation date was moved back, and it still has not yet fully happened. So, of course, all of this set up a perfect foundation for litigation, and courts across the country are split as to whether or not ADA applies to websites. So depending on where you operate your business, certain courts have ruled that it can apply. So where does that leave your eVetSites website? So the Website Accessibility Initiative has developed something called the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, and this has become the best way to ensure accessibility. And it's important to note that WCAG does not mean ADA compliance, but in the absence of consistent federal rules, it's currently the best we have to approximate ADA compliance. So with all of that, that leads us to our widget that we have created. And this widget meets some of the key elements of the WCAG 2.1 guidelines. And it provides your website users with enhanced accessibility and allows them to navigate your site more easily. So with that, I am going to go ahead and pass this over to Russell, who actually built this widget for us. And I will let him tell you more about what it offers and show you how it functions on your site. So Russell, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Just make sure that I have access. How do I take control of your screen, Megan?
I'm going to go ahead and make you the host.
Perfect.
All right, that should work for you.
Okay. Boom, boom. Let's try something else. I am now the host. No, not able to control your screen here. Request remote control. There we go.
All right. Try it now.
So, as Megan introduced the widget, it sits up in the top right-hand corner. And for any of your customers, you should simply be a click of the button to pull out the drawer of utilities. And really what this is doing is offering some features that will allow those that are hard of sight to be able to identify and read your website much easier, as well as help some of the automated readers pick up certain elements. So let's start with the most obvious, which is that we have the ability to, from the A+ and the A- to essentially increase the font size of the entire site. And that allows those people who struggle a little to see to be able to essentially zoom in. The A- does reduce that, but the reset settings at the bottom is a good fail-safe just to take you straight back to the original site. The next one is the ability to switch to a readable font. And again, when we say readable, it's really making it more readable. And in this case, in this website, there really isn't much of a difference. The font being used is one that's considered relatively readable. However, by clicking this, you can see that it does change the font. It does become much more basic. And if you are someone who likes to use a somewhat fancier font, then this is a great way to allow you to fall back to something a little bit more readable. And at any time, you can have multiple of these running. So we're still using the readable font and we're still increasing the size. I'm going to reset the settings, take us back. The next feature is again one that they're all focused around the readability, but links. So in order to let something is actually a link and is going to take them somewhere else, the original standard on the web was to have that underlined. We've kind of moved away from that. If we go back to provide what's considered a slightly better design from a user's perspective. However, it does kind of hide or mean that you have to physically move over one of these links to see that they are actually a link. And again, down here in this content area, the differentiation between something that is text and is actually a link is quite minimal, and for those of hard of sight is not the easiest to identify. So the ability to switch back and force links to be underlined, while some may say takes a little away from the design aesthetic, it makes it much easier to find where these links are that will take you somewhere else. The images grayscale is a great feature for basically taking, as it says, all those images and making them grayscale. Again, the ability to then layer on these also makes with the underlines, the grayscale, again, just all improving the ability to read. The invert colors is a very strange feature. Haven't quite found a great use for it yet, but as you can see, again, it's more than likely going to be used in a site where the contrast between the background and foreground colors is not great, and you really kind of need to emphasize that. And then the final one here, remove animations. This is a site where we haven't really got any animations moving images in from right to left or fading images in or out. But you do have the ability to remove those distractions by clicking on the remove animations. As I said, on this site, there really isn't any of that. And again, finally, reset settings will take you back to the original page. A click of the icon here will hide it. If there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, so this is a great time if you have any questions about the widget or anything we've gone over so far, go ahead and put that into the group chat. If you can't think of any now, but you think of some later, you can always give us a call or you can send us an email and we can answer your questions then. I also do want to note, if you aren't seeing the accessibility widget or all of the functions that Russell just went over, or if it's not behaving correctly on your website, please reach out to us so we can look into that. And another thing to note is that we will be continuing to implement more accessibility tools into our websites and evolving alongside those WCAG guidelines.